More than 46,000 migrants and refugees have made the journey to Greece, where they're seeking a safe haven.
Greece it's not a country for the refugee people.
33 people, including 5 children.
Everyone hears the numbers, everyone hears the suffering that people are going through, but we actually met the people. We had lunch with them. They wanted to take selfies with us, ask us questions.
And especially with a lot of media being especially polarized with the election and other political things going on, we felt that we wanted a straightforward approach and like the truth out of the situation instead of polarized media.
Based on what you'd seen in the news, what image did you have in your head that you would maybe see as you were flying over there, and then compare it to what you did see on the ground?
Definitely before I'd ever met any refugees or gotten involved in this, I was picturing just people lying around on the ground in horrible conditions, people, coming over and kicking them maybe because of this supposed increasing backlash that was going on, and just really, really horrible conditions and constant flow of people. But when we got there, and really practically every situation I've seen involving migrants is that they're just regular people going about their lives, kids playing around or buying food at the grocery store or, talking with other people, doing projects. It was definitely very different from what I had expected.
So one thing you guys dealt with on this trip was whose story was it to tell, and how far would you go into the refugee camps and that kind of thing. Will you tell me about that?
Because we were such a large group of 15 really privileged kids from Southern California, it seemed awkward to go in with the entire group and go into a refugee camp. But just driving past the camps when we were in the bus was very striking, because to me, it did not look like a camp. It looked like a prison. You had 3 to 4 layers of barbed wire fencing and then long rows of basically storage containers with tiny windows cut in every 15 feet. So it was going to have to be baking in there because it was in the middle of summer in the Mediterranean. We didn't capture any of that on camera. It wasn't necessarily the purpose of the documentary. But omitting that from any of the documentaries we made leaves a very different image of what's going on than what we conveyed.
Yeah, we heard the stories of the bad from people who are now in the better. Not the good, but the better.
Yeah, I think going into the field, you have to work with the timing, with your sources, with the angle that you have. So a little bit of it is incumbent on the viewer to make sure that they go in and get that full picture. So what's your advice for news consumers?
As many sources, watch, read, listen to as many sources as possible.
And Jonah, so moving forward, working in media, are there practices that you think you'll take with you having gone on this trip?
The ambitions and the goals and the dreams that a lot of the people who are going through the refugee crisis have are very pertinent and very real, and it's not just a story of sadness and tragedy, although that is a factor.
These people who have gone through, usually some very horrible things, had to leave their family, all the stuff you hear about on the media, are just trying to have regular lives. They don't want to be labeled as, a migrant. They want to be, a doctor or a teacher, and they happen to have a background of having to move their countries. So I think no matter what profession people are going into, just understanding that people have a shared humanity.
My own understanding has grown so much to be that I don't know what's happening, really. The more questions that you have just lead to more and more questions rather than answers. And so I think that a lot of times, kind of towards what Elliot was saying, so many people are closed-minded. They think they know the facts. But in reality, if you think you know everything, you probably know half as much as what you really do. And I think that the more open you are to trying to learn more information, the better, because you will never know everything. It's impossible. There's too much to know.
Isn't it frustrating? You think as you get older, you'll start to get the answers, and then what you actually get is this understanding that you will never get the answers.
There's just a hell of a lot more questions every time.
Exactly.